Hey, what's up guys? I'm Kevin Eknes, and today I wanted to discuss why I believe that the CAGED system is one of the most powerful systems that you could work on as far as fretboard visualization goes. So the CAGED system actually stems from just the open chord voicings C, A, G, E, D. So basically it's just spelled out, but the way it's spelled out is actually how you kind of go from one region to another. You'll go in the order of the actual just caged word. And so we start with C. The following letter is A, so A is actually the next kind of chord shape that follows the C shape. As you can see here, this really reminds us of the A shape. It's just transposed to fit the same kind of C major chord. And likewise, following is the G shape. As you can see, it's very similar to the open voicing G chord. Likewise, E and D. And then we're back. And that just represents the actual order from going from one region to the next, and it's universal across keys. It just kind of looks different. So let's say we're in G. The next letter is E because we're actually just starting in the middle. And then the following letter is D. And then we're just done with the word, so it just repeats itself. So we got to go back from the start. So C, and then A, and then we're back at G. And likewise, you could do it to, or transpose it to any kind of key that you would want. If we're doing, for instance, F. As you can see, this is actually the E shape that we're starting with because F doesn't have its own cage kind of open chord voicing. So the first one will be E, and then it just follows the word. So D shape, and then we're back to the beginning of the word, C, A, G, and then we're back. And it doesn't really stop there. We also have a minor CAGED system, which is kind of based off of the exact same major scale kind of open voicings, but we're lowering the third, so it's a minor chord. So C becomes C minor, and A becomes A minor, G becomes G minor, E becomes E minor, D, D minor. And it just follows the same kind of structure. So C, and then the A shape, the G shape, the E shape, and the D shape, and back. And it just represents the kind of order that you would go from just this area to the next, and then to the next. And it's a very cool kind of organizational tool to just kind of get to know each area of the fretboard. Now, where the CAGED system gets really powerful is when you actually start implementing other kind of harmonic elements to it and just use the CAGED kind of chord voicings as the core foundation to just whatever other concepts that you're working on. So the kind of first one to show you guys is the pentatonic scales. So as you can see, each CAGED voicing will contain half of a pentatonic scale. So in the C shape, which is a major chord, it contains half of C major pentatonic. And likewise, you can go up. And so you can see the pentatonic scale, if you just cut it in half, you're somewhat going to see something that closely resembles just the CAGED kind of voicing. And likewise in minor, we're obviously going to have to use the minor pentatonic. Something that I'm a big advocate for is having an extremely strong foundational kind of knowledge of something on the fretboard, and then just building upon that. And so the CAGED system is kind of the perfect just thing for that, because as I just showed you guys, we can find the CAGED chords inside the pentatonic scales, but we can also find the pentatonic scales inside each mode. And so I like to dissect it into kind of major modes and minor modes. So let's say we were just having like C major. We can find the CAGED chord, but we also can find the major pentatonic. And so inside the pentatonic shapes, we can just add the extra meat, which is just the 4th and the 7th. So the 4th is F and the 7th is a B. And therefore, we just end up with an Ionian scale. And so you can see on the diagram here that it just all fits nicely together. The kind of big picture is the entire major scale. But inside the major scale, we find the major pentatonic. And inside the major pentatonic, we find the CAGED chord. Now, where things get really interesting is when we actually take a look at the major scale modes and just see how nicely the major pentatonic scale fits into that. So let's say we're taking a look at Lydian. Inside the Lydian scale, we actually find the major pentatonic too. As we know, inside the major pentatonic, we find a major triad. And in this position that I was playing, we'll find the kind of just A shape. And so as you can see, the CAGED system could be the base foundation for, or kind of guiding foundation for any kind of modal scale. Likewise, with the Mixolydian scale, we find the C major pentatonic inside that. And then from there we also find just the regular CAGED voicing. And so as you can see, it can be the kind of anchor point for these 3 different modes: the Ionian mode, the Lydian mode, and the Mixolydian mode, all inside just the major CAGED system. And this is also how the minor modes that are derived from the major scale works as well. We can take a look at the minor voicings. So this is just a parallel, the A minor shape of C. We can find C minor pentatonic. And inside the C minor pentatonic, we could add the 9th and the 13th. And we get C minor. We could add the 9th and like a major 13th. We get Dorian. Likewise, we could add a flat 9 and a flat 13. And we get Phrygian. So all these lie inside the structure of a minor pentatonic, which is inside the structure from the CAGED chord. If you're enjoying this lesson so far, then make sure to let me know in the comments field below, and if you haven't subscribed already, then please do so. And if you want to help support this channel, then make sure to hit up patreon.com/KevinEknes to get some additional kind of resources and just helpful material. So yeah, I'm all about being resourceful, and what's cool is actually inside of each CAGED voicing, we can find a spread triad. So inside the A shape, we can find a spread triad here, for instance. Inside the G shape, we can find a spread triad. Inside the E shape, we can find one here. Or remotely close, could be here, or even here. Inside the D shape, we can find one here, or here. Inside the C shape, we find one here. So there's a beautiful spread triad voicing inside each of these kind of voicings, and it's very easy to kind of use those to kind of go up and use a different inversion. So let's say we have the 1, 5, 3. The following would be this one, and here. Or if you're using this one, very easy to kind of use the CAGED system to navigate through some beautiful spread triads. And the usefulness does not even stop there. The CAGED system could be used as anchors for changes playing easily. And so let's say we got a jazz standard like, say, All the Things You Are. We could use the CAGED system to kind of navigate through the changes. The A shape, the D minor shape, the A shape, the D shape, A shape, and then A minor shape, E shape, and then the A shape. And so from there, you could just see how the kind of mother scale or chord scale that each of these chords will be utilizing, or what kind of mode. And you could basically just see how the CAGED system will help you navigate through the kind of just voicings as you move through the changes. So and it's just kind of the basic foundation to see how you could navigate through playing on the actual chords and playing through the changes rather than just referencing everything to kind of like a mother scale or something like that, which is kind of not kind of the genre right thing to do. And from the subject of changes, you could also see that each one of the CAGED voicings will also just work as your arpeggios. So basically, you have all the arpeggios that you would need as long as you know the major and minor CAGED systems. Well, hopefully you'll see why I encourage you to work on the CAGED system, because it's such a powerful tool. And without anything else to say, I'll see you next time.